James is suing Sunday school teacher Nancy Hill in the amount of $1,416. Ms. James claims Ms. Hill created a hostile environment for her daughter, and as a result, her daughter has emotional issues. Ms. Hill claims she had nothing to do with the incident that caused the plaintiff's daughter's distress.
Woo, Miss James, Miss Hill. This makes me sad. It just makes me sad. And I understand that we have Dr. Green, who will be the expert, who will offer information on this case. I've read the complaint. I understand, Ms. James, that you have a little girl who was put in a Sunday school class that Ms. Hill taught. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that basically in your complaint that you're saying that your child was harassed and bullied. As a result, she has regressed, that she wets her pants now, that she is in treatment with Dr. Green.
Yes, ma'am.
And that you feel that Ms. Hill's actions have been responsible. Tell me succinctly what happened.
Well, Your Honor, my daughter was super glued to a toilet seat.
Wait. She was super glued to
Yes,
a
ma'am.
toilet seat. How did that happen?
This woman did not know how to control her classroom, and my daughter suffered because of it. Okay, I went on the day of the incident to pick up my little JC, okay, and she was wet from the bottom down. She was hysterically crying, and I said, baby, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she said, Mommy, the kids, they super glued me, okay? And I was hysterical. I went to her and I tried to get this is what she was wearing that day, Your Honor, and this skirt was glued to her skin. I took her home and I could not get it off of her. We had to go to the emergency room, okay, where the doctors told me that in order for this to be this stuck, it must have been some sort of strong adhesive like super glue. They had to use a liquid solvent to remove it off of my baby.
Ms. Hill, hold on just a second. Ms. Hill, what do you know about this situation?
I wasn't aware of anything happening that day until our director of education called me later that night to say that JC had to go to the emergency room after class and to ask me what I knew about it. And I didn't know anything. JC hadn't told me anything about it. We had used school glue in the classroom that day for one of our craft projects, but never super glue.
It wasn't school glue, Your Honor. It was not school glue.
I would never allow 6-year-olds to have super glue, and we don't have any.
You know, I'm a parent, and so I know the difference between glue that's used in the classroom and super glue, because the glue that's used for children's classrooms activities is soluble.
Yes,
I mean, you
ma'am.
can get water to basically dissolve it. So clearly something else has to have happened.
Absolutely.
Before we got to the situation where this child has super glue all over her.
This specific incident took place last December. Okay, and I know it was super glue, Your Honor, because I took my baby to the store and I said, JC, baby, I want to know what those little girls, what were they saying? What were they waving in your face and harassing you with? And this is what she pointed out. We took our time in the aisle, and then she said, Mommy, this is the one. This is the one here.
And if that's what it was, it did not come from my classroom. I was new to this community at one time too, and I know how difficult it is to integrate into. We're in a very small town and everybody there knows everybody else, and I know how difficult it can be to try to fit in. And so I tried to be welcoming and welcome Maura and JC, and I loved having JC in the classroom, and I wanted her to be happy, to be able to come to church and Sunday school and have fun and be happy.
But that's not what happened.
All right, so let's start. Let's start again on this. You say in your complaint that you filed with the court that Ms. Hill basically bullied your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
So I need to understand how that happened.
She bullied her. She singled her out in the classroom. She was always singled out.
How did she single her out?
She told a story, I believe. Let me finish. She told a story. She told a story about the Good Samaritan, and she singled out how my little JC is different from all the other Good Samaritans.
How would your daughter be different?
She's different, Your Honor, and I believe she's been treated differently because she is a biracial little girl. That's what this is about. I'm a biracial mother, and JC has a black father, and this community and this monster of a woman has mistreated my daughter.
Did you single this child out, Ms. Hill?
The Good Samaritan incident, the only reason that that came up was because Maura told me about an incident that happened out on the playground about some of the girls not being kind to JC. And so I told them the story because in the Bible that story is brought up in response to the question, who is my neighbor? And I wanted the kids to see that we're all equal in the eyes of God and we need to love one another and treat each other as we would want to be treated.
Did you make the parallel to the Good Samaritan because the Good Samaritan was new to the community, or did you make the parallel to the Good Samaritan because the Good Samaritan was different from the people in that community?
No, that was new to the community and was the hero of the story, that the people, the priest and all the other people who passed by the victim and didn't help were the people who thought they were the good people in the community, but they weren't. It was the Samaritan was the one that was the hero.
Did you ever think that Miss James was inadequate as a parent?
No, I never.
So in your heart of hearts, you never criticized her?
No, ma'am.
You never criticized her? Just a second. You never looked down upon her because of who she is?
No, ma'am.
You never had an issue with her being biracial?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am? And you say that's not true?
Yes, ma'am.
Coming up.
Now tell me why it's not true.
Because there have been several incidents where my little JC has felt singled out.
Tell me.
She comes home and she tells me about how the kids do not involve her in their playground activities.
But those are things that are happening out in the playground. That's not in my classroom. I have no
But you're the
control
teacher.
over that.
You are responsible for all care of these students.
No, there are other playground supervisors. I'm a volunteer that have the children for 1 hour once a week. In my
that's not an
but
excuse. That should it doesn't matter if it takes place on the playground or in the classroom. Something this bad.
Focus. It doesn't matter what you convince her of. It matters that you talk to me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? So talk to me.
Okay.
Not to Miss Hill.
Okay. I don't want to talk to her, so okay.
Go ahead.
I am just saying that my daughter has been mistreated by this woman and by this community and by this church. And it is because she is biracial. That is the reason why.
And how do you know that? How do you know that Miss Hill has mistreated your precious daughter because she's biracial?
Well,
you gotta tell me.
In the beginning, I used to get some behavior notes from Miss Hill saying that JC spends too much time in the bathroom and that she's going to get stuck in the bathroom. And, you know, I don't know why she spends so much time in there. And I can tell you, Your Honor, it's because of good hygiene. It's just something that me and my boyfriend have taught my daughter, which is to thoroughly wash your hands.
And I sent home a note one time.
Tell me about the note.
I was concerned that JC was spending so much time in the bathroom. I was concerned that maybe there was a medical issue or some other reason that she was in the bathroom
Well,
so
did you
long.
go in and check on her?
Absolutely, and checked and asked, you know, if everything was okay, and if also she was spending so much time in there because she was unhappy in Sunday school or something. I'd want to know about that too, because I want her to be happy and I want her to feel welcomed there.
So you never criticized her in front of the other children about being in the bathroom?
No, no.
Did JC say that she had been criticized?
Yes, she has.
And what did she tell you?
She has told me that my teacher makes fun of me, Mom. My teacher makes fun of me, and the other kids don't like me. She has also.
Why would I do that?
She has also said this in her therapy sessions with Dr. Green.
I'd like to hear from Dr. Green. Dr. Green, if you come, you've had this precious child in therapy sessions for how long?
2 months.
For 2 months. And tell me, it is your expert opinion, what is going on?
Right, so she feels like she's being teased and bullied at the Sunday school, and she feels like she's almost treated differently. Her emotional and mental distress might be caused by the Sunday school incidents because she feels like she enjoys going to day school. She doesn't feel pressured in other situations. She feels, you know, happy and content at her elementary school. She has friends outside.
In your counseling sessions with this child, have you picked up that she may have been singled out because she was biracial?
Right. She definitely felt like she was different than the other students, especially since she says she'll see other students being picked up by both of their parents, you know, afterwards, and she'll notice that she's just picked up by her single mother. She started feeling maybe she's different than the other students.
Ms. Hill, in this Good Samaritan story, did you ever refer to the Good Samaritan as being mixed breed?
No, ma'am.
Never?
No. I said that she was someone that the people in the Hebrew community would see as someone that was different from them. I said that.
Ms. James, there has not been enough evidence for me to be able to connect directly the trauma that your child obviously is experiencing with Ms. Hill. But my own personal feeling is that you need to get that child out of that Sunday school.
I have. Since
you
this
need to get her
incident,
out of there.
I have taken her out of that
Oh my
Sunday
goodness,
school.
she doesn't need to be in there because I think that they are being judgmental.
Yes, Your
and I
Honor.
think that there has been some rippling effect for your daughter.
Yes.
But unfortunately, given the evidence that's before me today, I am unable to award you the $1,400 plus that you're requesting for this court. And therefore, I am ruling in favor of the defendant and your case is dismissed. That is the order of the court, so ordered.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.